At the end of 1999, Carmen's career seemed to be going nowhere. She was too busy starring in her own real-life drama. After her much-publicized arrest in Miami with Dennis Rodman, she decided to leave the basketball star for good.
I think Carmen was just tired of feeling the way she was feeling and not receiving what she deserved, you know, in a relationship and friendships, and she cleaned house.
Carmen began to focus on her acting career. Once again, she got lucky and landed a small role in the big-budget horror spoof Scary Movie. When it was released in July of 2000, it was a huge hit, and so was Carmen.
She was so fantastic in that. Again, it showed her humor. It showed, yeah, I mean, she was acting, but she was really spoofing herself and spoofing the genre of horror movies.
And Scary Movie did a lot. I mean, you know, it was the first 5 minutes of the film, and it was only one scene, but that really changed my life a lot. And I just started getting a lot more offers, and it was great.
Carmen worked nonstop, posing for magazine covers, hosting MTV specials, and starring in a string of B-movies. And she found another way to showcase herself as the celebrity guest in the hot new Hollywood burlesque show, The Pussycat Dolls.
You keep playing where you shouldn't be playing. You keep thinking that you'll never get burned. Ha! I just bought me a brand new box of matches, yeah.
You have women that aren't completely naked, but they're, you know, dressed burlesque and they're sexy and the movements are incredibly hot. And who better to forefront that than Carmen Electra? But when Carmen hits that stage and shakes those hips and dances and sings, it's great.
The guys just, you know, of course are like, Carmen! Everyone's screaming, and the girls are, you know, the girls too. I mean, girls love her. And there's people with their mouths just, you know, jaws open, like, oh my God, you know, it's just the hottest girl I've ever seen in my life.
Carmen may have been sizzling on stage, but in her personal life, things were pretty quiet. At 28, she hadn't dated anyone in almost a year and wondered if she'd ever meet the right man.
It was hard. It was really hard, but it's so empowering, you know, to be alone. It felt so good to do it the right way instead of running off and jumping into another relationship. And that's what I used to do. I could never be alone.
All Carmen wanted was to find someone sweet and normal. And here he was. Rock star Dave Navarro, the lead guitarist for Jane's Addiction. One of Carmen's friends thought they'd make the perfect match and wanted to set them up. But Navarro was known for his wild past, which included heavy drug use.
There was a few of her friends that were like, uh-oh, is this Dennis part 2? What is this? You know, is this gonna be, because he'd had public struggles with drugs, and he was, you know, a rock star, and you didn't know if it was gonna be some crazy ride.
Well, it's funny when people say Dave's the bad boy, because I guess he truly is. He's a disaster, you know, and then all of a sudden he's a rainbow all at the same time. He's a very sensitive guy.
At 33, Navarro had put his crazy times behind him and was on his way to recovery. Carmen was intrigued, but she told her friend she was nervous about going on a blind date.
I said, no, please, please don't. I would be so embarrassed. Please, I begged. And she did anyway, and the next thing you know, we went out on a date.
Carmen agreed to meet Dave for dinner at a romantic LA restaurant. Dave, who was also nervous, showed up 10 minutes early.
So I walk in the restaurant, A&E Electra, and she goes right this way and takes me to a table that seats 12 people. And I thought that was a little odd. I thought perhaps she had created some space for my ego to join us.
Carmen had arranged for 10 of her girlfriends to come along. The only person who wasn't in on the plan was Dave.
And in walks one girl, 2 girls, 3 girls, 4 or 5 girls. Carmen's gonna be here in a minute, how you doing? nice to meet you, the whole introduction thing, and I'm standing up, and Carmen walks in a little bit later. This little tiny package, real sweet and compact, and just like little steps, because when she wears high heels, she can't take, her strides aren't very long. So it takes her about a half an hour to walk across the room. She's just totally cute.
I was nervous and just overwhelmed with excitement, you know, and when I looked into his eyes, I fell in love with him so fast. It was love at first sight, definitely.
But the minute my eyes locked with her blue eyes, I knew I was in serious danger, and I was sunk, because I instantly fell in love with her, instantly.
Instant chemistry, but they had an emotional bond too. Both Carmen and Dave had lost their mothers and survived failed marriages. They were surprised to discover how much they shared in common, from their dark sense of humor right down to the same choice of nail polish.
They both had their absolute wild, reckless days. You know, Dave had his and Carmen had hers, and they kind of been through the fire and they met right out on the other side of it.
Within weeks, Carmen and Dave knew that this relationship was different from all the others.
Definitely seemed like Dave was ready to, he even said, I think, you know, this is really serious. I think I'm actually falling in love, and I would hope to get married, because I'm married and the other guys in the band are married. So he was asking us questions and, you know, kind of poking at us. What's it like? How'd you know? You know, is it safe? You know?
We did stumble a couple of times, and we did misread each other a couple of times, and we tried to not smother one another, and the other one would read that as disinterest. So we were able to get through those moments, and thank God we did, because life has never been better.
Grab you guys together.
As they became inseparable, Carmen got to know the real person behind Dave's wild rocker image.
He's very sarcastic, and I love that. He's very intelligent, funny. He's actually, don't tell anyone, but he's actually a dork. He's, isn't he?
That's what we love about each other, is that we make each other laugh, and we make each other cry, and we make each other happy.
She probably couldn't know that he would be so sweet and totally grounded and perfect for her. I mean, you know, it could have been a whole nother wild ride, but it really didn't turn out that way.
Still ahead, Carmen and MTV team up again.
And our first instinct was to not do it. Why put it out there? And at one point, I just kind of sat back and went, you know what, though? It could be fun.